Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community and 7 questions with Emmy.
Hey guys, welcome back to 7 Questions with Emmy. My guest today earned a black belt in Taekwondo, earned a bachelor's degree in psychology, set a world record, flown numerous airplanes, and she's done it all without arms. Jessica Fox, thank you so much for joining me.
Glad to be on. I'm excited to be here.
Should we get started with the questions?
Sure.
Okay, question number 1. When you were 14, you earned your first Taekwondo belt. How did you prepare for that without arms?
Well, I started Taekwondo when I was 10 years old, and I really didn't know what I was getting into because I had no other experience in martial arts. And then my mom decided that my sister, my brother, and myself would be, it would be good for us to be in Taekwondo to learn how to defend ourselves. So she enrolled me in a Taekwondo school, and I thought, well, I don't know what this instructor is going to think. I don't have arms, and no one has ever done Taekwondo without arms, or so I thought. And my mom went in to talk to the instructor and said, well, my daughter doesn't have arms. And the instructor said, well, I have only one requirement. As long as she has a good attitude, that's all that matters. And I had a good attitude. I went in with a can-do spirit. And from there, we worked with creating different substitutions for all the hand movements so that I could fully participate from the age of 10 up to the age of 14, all the way from white belt, yellow belt, green belt, blue belt, red belt, and then finally black belt. And it was a wonderful experience. It gave me a boost in confidence, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. It just took a little bit of creativity doing it in a different way.
Yeah. Question number 2. Do people ever stare at you out in public, and how do you handle that?
Well, people stare at me all the time. I was just out yesterday, and whenever I leave my home or a place where everyone knows me, people don't know what to do because they've never seen a person without arms before. And for others, they think of it as, oh, she's just different, which is what I like. Some people, though, think, oh, no, how does she live her life without arms? And they want to worry, or what I don't like, give me pity. And so I have to learn how to react to that and know that, people think differently about my situation. And I have to come from a point of understanding that everyone is different. So I have to be able to navigate my world and how people respond to me, whether I do it positively or negatively, it can make an impact on that experience. So that's a very important teaching moment, I think, for when someone sees someone who's different, and understanding that we all can't be the same. We all live our lives differently, and we come out in different shapes and sizes, and we all have differences.
Question number 3. You received a Guinness World Record for being the first person to fly a certified airplane using only your feet. What was that experience like?
Well, flying a plane is just it's just so exciting. It's so nerve-wracking. It's so freeing. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of responsibility that the pilot has. So all of these things together is what it feels like to fly, even when you're flying with hands. But for me, doing it with my feet, because I don't have hands and arms, it's all the more challenging when it comes to doing what the hardest part of flying is landing the airplane. So landing the airplane is the most challenging part. And the moment you get a good landing in, you celebrate for the rest of the day, and you keep a smile on your face, and you said, I landed that plane. And they have the saying, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
Yeah. Is there anything you haven't been able to do without arms?
I think of a few things that are hard for me to do without arms. And one of those things, as you see, my hair is down right now. So styling my hair is a little more challenging, but putting it in a ponytail was the hardest thing for the longest time. And someone came up with a way of doing it with one hand, but no one has really come up with a very effective way to make a nice, clean ponytail without both hands. So I still work on that. That's still something that's a challenge for me.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Idaho, where we live, and what's your favorite way to have an Idaho potato?
Okay, I have been to Idaho. It's a beautiful state. I love potatoes, but I really do like to eat mine as twice baked potato because it's so delicious. There's a lot of different flavors in that, and it's a really, really good thing to have when you're eating a steak.
Yeah. There's this really good restaurant that we have here in Idaho. It's called Texas Roadhouse, and it they put like salt all around the skin and like bake it, and the salt melts in, and it's so good and delicious.
I would love to try it. And I know about Texas Roadhouse, so that must be a chain because I think I've been to it in another state somewhere.
Yeah. Well, if you ever come to Idaho again, we can get potatoes together.
Let's do it. But I have to challenge you to eat it with your feet, though.
Okay, I'll try to.
Yes, I'd be happy to see if you're right or left-footed.
Yeah. What do you say to people who tell you that you're not able to do things?
I think no matter who you are, people are going to tell you you can't do something. And sometimes it's because it's a reflection of them. They don't think it's possible for themselves, so they want to pull other people down and say, you can't do it. And so I have to remind myself that when someone says to me, I can't do it, it gives me a reason to do it. And it gives me a reason to push forward and do it anyway. And turning that doubt from someone else or that naysayer into something positive is what it's all about. It's really transforming that so that instead of hearing their negative input about what they think is possible in their own life, you think about what's possible in your life and say, you know what? Just because they don't think it's possible doesn't mean it's possible for me.
Can you share a piece of advice that might help me and our audience?
I would love to share the advice that anything is possible, the advice that we are all different no matter who we are, and we have to respect our differences and the fact that all of us live life a little differently, and different is good. So I'd love to share that to all who watch your channel. Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you, and good luck with all your other interviews.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for watching. Remember, new 7 questions interviews are posted every Thursday. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Love you guys. Bye.
Idaho Falls Pediatrics, proudly supporting kids in our community, and 7 questions with Emmy.